exploring whiskey, people.
Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we are going to be exploring a Four Roses.
Our first one.
Yeah, first from the Four Roses. There's, four total different releases, I think, currently.
And this is the fourth. So we're going back.
And
We're going to go
yeah,
back.
we're gonna
go backwards.
At least the release timeline. This particular recipe, the Select, just came out. Small Batch Select just came out in 2019. So this is a relatively new release. Four Roses has kind of an interesting process. They have two different mash bills that they use.
10 recipes.
Pretty similar. I mean, you know, Buffalo Trace has the two different mash bills that they kind of use. They do 1 and 2. They do what? E and B, I think, are the two mash bills for Four Roses. And then they have 5 different yeast strains. So, you know, 2 times 5, 10 different possibilities. They blend them all. So their baseline bourbon has all 10. Their regular small batch has 4. Small batch select has 6. And then you can do single barrels, and you can select like an actual single barrel with, I want the heavier corn one, and I want the yeast that, I don't know, gives me fruity notes.
It is. That's what I have in my house. That's the one that our friends went and did the barrels. They picked the barrel.
They picked specifically. That's kind of an interesting part with how Four Roses works. Again, this just came out a handful of years ago, and 104 proof, pretty solid.
I started off drinking bourbon. I drank the entry line Four Roses, a little cheaper.
A lot cheaper.
But I didn't know what I was really what I was doing back then. It was more bourbon on bourbon and water, bourbon and ginger ale, not really bourbon and Coke or neat. And I was telling you earlier, you know, my in-laws, they frowned upon Four Roses. Apparently, back in the day, it was not held in high regard as it is now. They quote unquote called it rot gut. So I'm going to lean towards that's probably the entry level. Probably, or way back in the day. I'd like to think it's better now, but I'd say the entry level is nowhere near what the rest of the line is.
So that's the one thing I get, and I almost always get from Four Roses, and it could be power suggestion. Anytime Four Roses always smells very floral to me. There's almost a perfumey floral note to me.
Yeah, I get kind of the vanilla caramel.
Yeah, it's
like spice, but it's probably more of a cinnamon spice.
Yeah, there's a vanilla there, but for some reason I get a floral note, and I don't know why.
Taste is nothing like the nose for me.
That's a lot of cinnamon. Did you get a lot of cinnamon off that?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a lot of baking spice notes. Well, that's interesting. So their 2 mash bills are 75% corn, 20% rye, 5% malted barley, or 60% corn, 35% rye, 5% malted barley. So they have a high rye and a really high rye. I mean,
which I'm getting that finish is that spicy, peppery finish, which would
pepper
be
notes, a lot of the rye. But this is technically 50-50 of those mash bills.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 from the 70% corn and 3 from the 65% corn. Or 60% corn. Wow, I screwed that up. 3 from the 75% corn and 3 from the 60% corn.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the nose now after sampling it twice, and I mean, I still pick up what it initially did, but it's faint. It's not as potent.
Oh. I lost all the floral notes now, and I'm now getting a lot of cinnamon and baking spice. The rye notes, the notes are coming through much stronger. So again, this bottle is at 104 proof. There is no age statement on the bottle. On the website, it does say a minimum of 6 years. So that's a pretty solid amount of age on a bourbon.
Yeah, that spicy, leathery finish. It sticks around.
There's a lot of spice.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why I think it's floral, is it's more an herbal rye note, but it's not like on the nose. It's not, I don't get peppery on the nose. I get that floral herbal note on the palate. Yeah. All those baking spices, peppery notes, all that kind of starts to come through.
So again, 104 proof.
Yep.
Roughly $60.
Yes, which is interesting. So of their 4 lines, this is the most expensive one. Even more expensive than their single barrels, which I find a little strange. But it is at least 2 times more expensive than their regular small batch. And it's like 3 times more expensive than their baseline entry level stuff. And it's just like, wow. Now the proof is a little higher. Like as you go through each of those steps, the proof is a little higher. So I get paying for proof because less product per barrel. Right. Makes sense. But is it twice as good as regular small batch and 3 times as good as the baseline? I don't think I've ever had the baseline. I think I've had small batch before, but I don't think I've ever
had
plenty. Yeah. Is this 3 times better?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
It is. Baseline for me, it's more of a, I would put it more as you'd mix it with something. You wouldn't put it in a Glencairn or put it over a cube. You
don't want it by itself.
Water, ginger ale.
Okay.
Or if you're Coke or Pepsi.
Okay.
That would be them. But we'll get there because we got to try it.
Absolutely. It's good.
It's good.
It's a little I like the pricey. Bottle. The bottle, yeah, I do. I like their bottles. I like the roses. I know they do really fancy bottles every once in a while, right? Where the roses are etched all over the place.
Yeah, and every bottle is a different shape. The entry line is kind of your standard, more of like an Old Forester bottle.
Okay, a little bit rounder.
Yeah. You got this one, then the single barrel
is more like squarish.
Yeah.
But it's a
kinda,
flaring square.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what to explain that as, but it's not like straight square. It's not Johnny Walker where it's like straight up. No. It starts as a square and kind of like builds up a little bit.
The neck of the bottle's like this though. It's pretty small. But no, I mean, yep. Each line's got a different shaped bottle.
Yep.
It's good.
It's solid.
$60.
I don't know. I'd spend $60 a different way.
If it was $45, $50,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
The proof is solid and the rye content is a little high for my preference.
But I'm trying to think, going through various stores, like any of the Four Roses outside of the entry is not, you don't see it all the time.
No, it's a little harder to find. I agree.
Maybe at least here.
Right. Yeah. Around
maybe if
Nashville,
Kentucky,
it's a little funny every once in a while.
It's probably different, but down here.
Or Texas, which apparently gets everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the card's got all that.
Yeah, pretty interesting. And the ownership I found a little bit interesting. So did not realize this. It's owned by, Kirin, who does the Japanese beers. Yeah, so the Ichiban, Kirin Ichiban is that's one of my favorite Japanese beers.
Every time I go to Hibachi.
That's right, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, we started at the high end of Four Roses. We'll make our way to the low end, but it very interesting. The mash bills, the recipes, and and they put on the card.
Yeah.
You got to look for that because they have letters for everything, and each letter stands for something else, especially when it comes to the yeast strain. So when you buy one, pay attention to it, because the next time you go and buy a bottle, I would pay attention
specifically
to that
for the single barrel. The select and the small batch and the baseline are always the same. The baseline's always all 10 strains, and the small batch is always the same 4 strains, and this is always the same 6. I say strains, but versions. But when you get to the single barrel, like, you really need to pay attention if you find one you like, because the next single barrel may not be the same setup.
Could be a little different.
It could be a different mash bill. It could be different yeast strain. And the different yeast strains each do, one's a little bit more fruity, one's a little bit more spicy, one's a little bit more creamy. Like there's all these different.
Floral and herbal.
Yeah, floral and herbal. See, I told you, I got floral and herbal.
Yep.
But, you know, there's very specific things there, and that's kind of a cool part, and it's always going to be 4 letters. So it's always going to be O, right? Because that's their distillery or production facility. And they always use S, which is straight whiskey. S is the S. That's the 3rd letter. The mash bills are E and B. And then they have a bunch of different letters. Last letters is the yeast.
Is the yeast strain.
Which is, I don't know, they have a whole bunch of different
Fruit.
ones.
Like their story.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The different letters, and they put it out there.
Yeah.
So.
I like the fact, I do like the fact that they're very straightforward with exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that.
High end, you wait to the low end.
That's right.
So, again, we appreciate everyone joining. If you like this episode, we encourage you to swipe the like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, get notified every time we put on a new show, and leave us a comment. You know, what do you think of Four Roses? Have you done any of the single barrels and found a combination that you just thought was money? Love to hear it.
Thanks for joining. See you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Cheers.